Viktor Frankl said that when we are no longer able to change our situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And that's what the players did heading into round 2 out at the Beast. It was an entirely different story than it was on the first day. Day 1, we had 3 rounds that were double digits under par. Today, we had 14 rounds double digits under par. Yesterday, we only had 2 clean cards. The top 10 golfers after round 2 only had 5 bogeys between all of them. 10 players, 18 holes, 5 bogeys. Yesterday, there was only 1 person that went perfect inside of circle 1. Today, if you just missed 1 putt, you were 14th on the list. 13 people went perfect inside of circle 1. So let's take a look at our leaderboard that's going to be going into the final day at the Beast. Leading off, we're going to have Big Germ. Second place heading into the round, 2 men tied at 22 under par. Nate Perkins, who came off of the second card, and Paul McBeth, who was trending towards maybe the best round of his career, definitely the best round ever at the Beast, and then stumbled at the end. We'll talk about that just a moment. And bringing up the rear on the lead card, a name you may not have heard for a few years, Double G, Garrett Guthrie. It's good to see him back and healthy and on the tour. So let's take a look at these rounds. How did they accomplish the things that they were able to do? First up, Big Germ. He was supremely clean on the day. 80% in the fairway, 83% circle 2 in regulation, and oh, by the way, 100% inside the circle. You want to know how to climb up her leaderboard? That's how you do it. Nate Perkins' round was almost identical to Germ's, except a tiny bit better as far as his statistics go, even though he came out with the same score at the end of the day. 85% in the fairway, 89% circle 2 in regulation, and 100% from circle 1, as well as 0 OB strokes. Good job on Nate. Let's talk about Double G just for a second. 90% inside the fairway, 100% circle 1 putting, 0 OBs, just like Nate. But what did Double G do to get himself onto that final card? He went 7 under par on the last 6 holes. 7 under par on the last 6 holes, including 2 eagles. That'll do it for you, but the talk of the day was Paul McBeth. Paul was 12 under par through 12 holes, with 1 par and 1 eagle. And then he went even par on his final 6 holes. He had the makings of the best round in the history of Waco disc golf, but specifically at the Beast. But then going into the last 3 holes, he went OB drive on 16. Actually, the entire leader card went OB drives on 16. On the 17th hole that they played, hole number 5 on the course, he had a birdie putt from the middle of circle 2, and he flew it over the basket out of bounds on their second to last hole. And then on their last hole, he had a putt from about 40 feet for the eagle, missed it about 10 feet long, and then he party subbed the putt coming back, finishing with a par, which is actually what took him out of a tie with Big Germ, and it has him tied with Nate Perkins 1 stroke back. So that's our MPO lead card. Let's take a look at our FPO lead card. How did it shake out on day 2? Sarah came in with a 1-stroke lead over Kat and a 3-stroke lead over Paige. And on the first hole, Paige took 2 strokes back. Paige went birdie, Sarah went bogey, and it looked like, oh, here comes the Paige train. She's just going to run over the field again. And a matter of fact, Sarah started out really flat. She was even through the first 4 holes. And then Sarah Hokom went nuts. Absolutely nuts. She was 6 under par on her next 7 holes. Sarah was. She took off in a sprint. Paige, on the other hand, she was kind of struggling through there. She had her opportunities, but down the stretch, she just couldn't really capitalize. And Sarah had the opportunity to really, really make some big distance between her and Paige going into the final round. But Sarah, she had an 8-shot lead with 6 strokes or 6 holes to go, and she ended up going even on those final holes. Paige had the opportunity to catch up, but then she took a double circle 6 on her next to last hole, hole 5 on the course, to give a couple of them back. So Paige goes into the final round 6 shots back. Catrina was hanging right there with Paige, trying to put some pressure on Sarah, or at least trying to stay close when she was sprinting away from everybody. But then Catrina went absolutely cold on the back 9. 3 bogeys, 6 pars. She just couldn't get anything going, and so she sits in 3rd place heading into the final round. Still within striking distance of Paige, but I don't know if anybody's going to be catching Sarah the way she was playing on Friday. All right, Big Germ. Thank you for meeting us out here at the party here in Waco. So, yes, rock on. So, what were you passionate about before disc golf came into your life?
Well, before disc golf came into my life, my main passions were going back to as a child. I loved soccer. I played a lot of traveling soccer. It basically consumed my life. I had a soccer ball at my feet anywhere I went. And outside of sports, really graphic design, illustration, drawing, doodling, whatever I could do to like not pay attention to class.
Okay.
Those are the things I was really interested in as a kid. And as I got older, I started phasing out soccer and turned into basketball. But
yeah, I'm sure once you started to grow, there were some coaches that are like, "Hey, who's this kid?"
Yeah, right? I was recruited for different sports at different times in my life, but I was a goalie in soccer, and so my big size for my age certainly helped well for keeping balls out of the back of the net. But yeah, as I got taller, when I was a freshman in high school, I think I was like 6'1", 6 foot, which was tall, but not like super tall. But then, by the time I was a junior, I was 6'6", so I'd grown up pretty tall, and I was the tallest person in my class all of a sudden. And next thing I know, I was the starting center on my high school basketball team, which was ranked number 3 in the state.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever play with any names that we know in high school?
Yeah. One of my good friends is Anthony Murrow, who went on to play for Georgia Tech, and then he's had a really great long career in the NBA. His first game in the NBA, he scored like 40 points, and he actually led the league in three-point field goal percentage.
Yeah.
He's mostly rode the bench for most of his career for like. He wasn't like a starter, but he was like super deep threat for a really, really long time. So.
Do you ever send him pictures of when you dunked on him in 10th grade or anything?
He's actually, as a matter of fact, he's the only person to ever dunk on me. I've been dunked on one person in my career, and it was Anthony Murrow, and it was so stupid. He was already beating me down the court in pickup game, fast break. I tried to beat him to the backboard back when we were both jumping about 40 inches off the ground. And I mean, I got up there high, but dude, he was just way more athletic than me.
So he sends you pictures of him dunking on you?
I don't want to talk about it. I beat him in every dunk contest we ever had, but he got me that time.
Okay, so growing up, like a lot of your pictures, man, you've got that look on your face that we know, kind of the goofing off, having a good time, Jeremy. Well, yes, I mean, most of us would call it dumb. Your mother would call it cute, right?
Yes.
Adorable, but yes, we would call it dumb, but yes. I didn't want to say that. So,
okay, thank you.
Has that always kind of been your attitude, your outlook on life? Is that happiness?
Yeah, well, I mean, part of that is just naivety, or naivete.
Naiveness.
Yeah, there it is. That's the word. No, but I think that part of that was just me just focusing on sports and not really like looking at what was going on around me. Sometimes things weren't always the way they should be in my childhood, but I was able to focus on the things that I really was interested in, and that totally translates to everything I do in life. I mean, disc golf has become a passion. I chased it even when things didn't make sense financially, just because it was something I loved, and I followed it blindly. Some would say dumbly.
Yeah.
But it's just something I've always loved. Yeah.
So in your growing up, what were the sort of things that you and your parents did together before, I mean, maybe, with sports or outside of sports or whatever? What was that childhood like?
Well, my parents were huge hippies. You may know her as Deborah Dorland. A lot of other people know her as Rainbow Weaver.
Oh, wow.
And I was, this is the first time I'm going to say this on camera here. Some of my friends know this, but I'm Big Germ now, Jeremy Koling also, whatever, but as a kid I was Lionheart. And I grew up going to rainbow gatherings.
Like Van Damme, Lionheart?
Nope, just like Lionheart, like the coolest name a 3-year-old has ever given himself. But yeah, I went to a lot of rainbow gatherings. My parents brought me up going to these long camping trips in the woods and living kind of in a communal society. There's a bunch of kitchens, and it's a really beautiful way to grow up, but it's also very different. And so that was kind of like my introduction into the Frisbee culture, actually. A lot of hippies are known for loving playing catch, and I'd see the big adults throwing the Frisbee around, and I wanted to join in too, and that was kind of like the beginning of enjoying the flight of a Frisbee.
That's so interesting.
A little bit different.
So, like, if out on the fairways tomorrow, if you have a good drive, can people go, Lionheart?
Yeah, sure. If you want to call me Lionheart, you can. I'm sure that's going to start now. But no, I love that. I mean, like, if it would have been a dumb name, if I was like Spider-Man, like, I don't know, maybe that would have been pretty cool as a kid, but like Lionheart's a way cooler name. Like, I came up with that by myself. I'm pretty proud of that. Like, as a 32-year-old like adult, I don't think I could come up with a cooler name. So
In 2008, Balcones was nothing more than an idea, driven by a passion to create something original and authentic, right here in the heart of Texas. We've made a significant investment not only in our operations and whiskeys, but in the community that we know and love as Waco. Distilled in Texas, distinguished in taste.
This is Dixon Jowers filling in for Will Schustrick today. Let's see what the Beast has to offer. What a fantastic finishing hole out here at the Beast. Players are going to have to decide if they want to go for it or if they want to lay up. When the wind is whipping, this hole plays a third of a stroke over par. When it is down, it plays a third of a stroke under par. It's the last hole of the tournament. What are you going to do? At 492 feet, every player challenging for the win has enough power to get there. However, there is a lot of pucker factor involved in that shot. If the player chooses to lay up short, they need anywhere between a 200 and a 350-foot spike hyzer down to the left side of the pond. From the landing zone, it is about a 250-foot pitch over to a receptive green. However, if the player wants to go for it, they're going to have to get the big dogs out. At a 492-foot hole, approximately 450 feet of water carry is needed. Will the wind allow for our players to attack, or will the Beast take one last bite out of the competitors?
Hey there everybody, it's time for the Patreon raffle. We're giving away a pair of socks, a silly pint, and a t-shirt, one for each day of our 2018 Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs broadcast. Our three winners are Jonathan Coffey, Brandon Rose, and Joseph Kessler. Thank you, gentlemen, for being Patreons. If you'd like to be a Patreon and get an opportunity to win our drawing, which we do every day of every live broadcast, go to patreon.com/DGPT and become a Patreon. You also have an opportunity to win big prizes playing Patreon Fantasy Disc Golf, as well as getting extra prizes throughout the week and every time we do a broadcast. Thank you, have a great day, and keep enjoying the show.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our third and final day here at the 2018 Waco Annual Charity Open. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and this is Championship Saturday, and we're going to bring you the action. However, we're going to bring it to you a few holes from now. We're standing down for the first couple of holes as they prove to give us horrible signal thanks to some power lines and some other interference. So rather than giving you that, what we're going to do is we're going to give you elongated women's coverage. We've got the first few holes from the women, holes 7, 8, and 9, and maybe a little bit more. And as soon as the men catch up with us, then we're going to cut back to them and we'll bring you shot-by-shot action. We'll, of course, be splicing in the action from the women's side throughout the rest of the round, and we'll find out who is crowned champion. I'll give you a little spoiler alert. It was an epic battle, so I'll leave it at that. Let's get right to it. This is the women on hole number 7, your FPO lead card, with Paige Pierce trying to chase down Sarah Hokom, who's our leader after a great second day. We'll see you in a few.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the final round of the 2018 Waco Charity Open presented by Dynamic Disc. Your women's leader Sarah Hokom is on the tee with a 6-stroke advantage. If anyone's going to catch her today, I'm guessing it's either Paige Pierce or Catrina Allen. They're both within striking distance if they can have a great round. Hokom plays up against the blackinkdisc.com wall just as she did the day before. And a bank shot for Paige Pierce. She plays it off the wall. Yesterday, Catrina Allen started with a very rough go at it here on hole number 1. With 5 putts, and today she's going to try and eliminate all of those by putting it right next to the basket. And Lisa Fajkus, trying to avoid the tree that she hung up on earlier in the week, goes OB, comes back, and gets the green flag. She's inbounds and safe here on her tee shot. Lisa Fajkus going to nestle it right up next to the pin. She'll be able to walk away with a par. Hokom can strike first with the jumper from circle 2. Instead, she's right next to the pin. And Paige Pierce is going to immediately get a stroke here on the first hole. She's going to trim that lead by 1. And Catrina Allen looking to start off so much better than she did the day before. And up and in for the easy birdie. Park job, Catrina Allen, getting started here on the first hole. Very overcast. Threat of rain. I don't think we're going to see it during the women's round here in the earlier morning, as we see Hokom and Lisa both with pars. The lead is just 5.
Tempercraft USA. Double-walled 18/8 stainless steel construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
In 2008, Balcones was nothing more than an idea, driven by a passion to create something original and authentic, right here in the heart of Texas. We've made a significant investment, not only in our operations and whiskeys, but in the community that we know and love as Waco. Distilled in Texas, distinguished in taste.
We move over to hole number 8. Coming in at 516 feet. This is a par 4. And a smash by Paige Pierce. Plays up the right-hand side. She's pushing to the left. Shoves a little bit of obstruction from there. Catrina's more hyzer. Hits the tree. But she's going to get a good roll into the fairway. She'll have a little bit more room to work with from there. Hokom with 2 pinpoint accurate shots yesterday put her underneath the basket for the birdie. Today she hits the tree on the left side. She'll still try to work that left side angle. And Lisa Fajkus I love the play out wide to the right, giving herself plenty of room and probably the easiest approach. Catrina working with her footwork. Looks like she might have slipped a little. Finds herself just outside circle 1. And Hokom can still take the wide route out to the left. She's looking for a little more skip than it gives her. And you can see the flag is barely moving. We may have a calm day just like we did on day number 2. Paige Pierce has a look at eagle from a little over 100 feet. How ridiculous. She's giving it a run. And she'll find herself less than 10 feet right side of the pin. Sarah Hokom can birdie from middle of circle 2. Instead, next to the pin. Catrina Allen about 40 feet to the pin for the birdie. And her putt seems to be just off. She goes high and wide. Lisa Fajkus can birdie from inside the circle, just inside 30 feet there. In and out. Fajkus in disbelief. She's going to have to shake that off. It was a solid putt and a great putt by Catrina. Looks like the shorter one, she's going to step up and just throw it in there, trying to alleviate anything jumbling around in her mind there. Paige Pierce opens the round with back-to-back birdies. She's already trimmed the lead from 6 down to 4 in the first 2 holes. She's on a hunt for Hokom. We're going to move on to the par 3, hole number 9. Both Paige Pierce and Catrina Allen under par through the first 2 holes. Hole 9, 294 feet. We see wide hyzer routes, and we also see up the middle. Paige has struggled here all 3 rounds. We've yet to see her get one close. Catrina gets around the tree, but she'll be short. Hokom made a great putt here yesterday. And today she's going to flirt with being just inside the circle 1. Not quite wide enough for Fajkus. It had the right speed and angle. She just needed it a foot wider. And she finds another tree between her and their basket. She's going to have to dial it in. Paige with a lunging jump putt. She's going to be next to the pin. This may be her first par of the round. Catrina, no options other than the layup. And from just inside the circle, Lisa Fajkus is trying to save her par. And bangs it. Center chain, Lisa Fajkus, elevated basket. She'll walk away with her 3rd par in a row. Sarah Hokom converts. She's going to get a stroke back. Hokom's first birdie of the round. The flags are calm, the humidity is up, the temperatures are mild, and we're looking at hole number 9. Paige Pierce will need this for her par. And this time she dials it in. She's had struggles on this basket in the first 2 rounds. Paige Pierce now 5 back, leading into the par 4.
Are you currently looking for the one? How do you get hooked up usually?
Through friends,
Players' parties.
sometimes even fans.
And how's that been working for you?
Not so good.
Have you ever tried looking online?
Never.
You should check this site out.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Find your go-to disc at blankinkdiscs.com today. 2018 Tour Support discs available now.
Gotta get one.
I need one.
Hole number 10. A very rough 441-foot par 4. Multiple bends and turns to it. And Hokom hits the left side. And it sticks on the left side. Had that kicked out, it would have been far less punishing. Pierce goes with a putter that doesn't fully make the bend, but she does get the kick out. What difference will that make between the two of them? Catrina Allen keeping it low, playing it down the center. And Fajkus with a early release hits the same tree we saw by Hokom. She gets the kick out. She's got a better angle, but that one's too low and she doesn't get past the tree. Still not around the bend, and you've got a lot of work to do. Hokom with the pitch out. She's thrown 2. This is Paige's 2nd shot. And she pulls it, but somehow it stays in the fairway. This hole being very generous today, as Hokom's 3rd shot hits left side trees. And Fajkus hits an early tree as well on her 3rd shot. Catrina Allen has thrown her blue disc to right there for her 2nd shot. Meanwhile, that's Fajkus' shot that's coming in. She's just inching her way up the fairway, and Hokom's not in the clear yet as she hits one of the single late trees. Paige throwing her 3rd shot, kicks off the tree. I'm not sure it really helped or hurt her. She was going to be about the same distance from the pin. And Fajkus is underneath, laying 5. Hokom for 5, also underneath the basket. Catrina's 3rd shot is an easy pitch up right next to the pin. Par is good. And that's exactly what Paige Pierce is doing. Par's hole number 10.
River Tours.
It's the River Tours, she says. The double bogey, though, for Hokom's going to give 2 strokes to a charging Paige Pierce. Catrina Allen's going to tap in for her par. She'll pick up 2 strokes as well because Lisa Fajkus takes the double bogey too. We're moving on to 11. Let's get on a boat tour.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the green of hole number 9. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with Cameron Frymark. Cameron, we may have a element or two to contend with today. It may not be our power wires, but I think we're going to see some weather move in on us.
Actually in Texas we only have perfect weather all the time, so I don't really think that's going to happen, Terry.
As you're holding an umbrella over us right now, we've caught up. This is in fact your lead card of the MPO, and we watched them play the first pair of holes just a few moments ago. Directly behind us, we see Paul Ulibarri is teeing on hole number 1, which is what Paul McBeth is standing down for. And Paul looks like he's going to be ready in a moment here.
Yeah, Paul went with the wide hyzer and went just a little bit too far and got a bad roll, but he's given this a run, and just off the cage. That was so close to going in.
Wow, what a great jump putt there by McBeth. And a name that we haven't seen out too much on the course lately. If you're a little bit old school, you may recognize Garrett Guthrie, otherwise known as Double G. Easily one of the longest throwers in the history of the game. And Double G putting to the elevated basket. He comes up short. Double G originally hails out of Florida. This year we see him touring around. I believe he's with Jessica Weiss, as they've been at a number of events together. And Big Germ, who took a bogey 5 on the previous hole by throwing out of bounds. He's looking to erase that here.
Oh my goodness, that's hard to believe. He's going to regret that later, and he needs to calm down. He's clearly frustrated about that. Nate Perkins and Germ, the only two to reach inside of circle 1 on their drives with forehand shots. Perkins left looking for his birdie.
And Nate Perkins takes the birdie. And just as Nate is putting in for his birdie, we have to start thinking about contingency plans, what that might include, whether they will get all the way through the round or not. I believe it's just 9 holes that have to get completed by everyone, is what I was told. We'll confirm and check in with you in a little while. We're going to move over to hole 10. We'll see you there with your lead card.
The Dynamic Disc Recruit is a tournament quality basket at a practice level price. The Recruit is the ultimate basket for backyard practice or temporary courses. Get ready for tournaments. Get better. Get the Recruit.
And welcome back. We're here on the tee. Nate Perkins ready to throw.
Nate with a hyzering mid-range just squeaks behind a tree. He should get the corner, and that looked like it was just short of the cottonwood, so he should have a good open look from there. McBeth says get off it initially, and it does not. It hits the tree, but he's lucky to stay in the middle of the fairway. Gurthie powering a mortar on a hyzer. This is going to get a good skip. Oh, and it hits a tree and kicks to the right side of the fairway. Germ throwing that same turnover. I don't know that got around the giant caught. Ladies.
McBeth's lining up. He's on one knee. Looks like he's got a forehand approach. Now he's second guessing it. And now he's going with a run up and a backhand. Now he's going to switch discs.
He's got a very tight gap to hit. He needs that to turn over a little bit more. There may be an open spot over there, and he just hit a very narrow gap with that shot.
That gap was no more than 8 feet wide, and Paul McBeth put it directly through the uprights. A perfect spear right through there.
Being on the right side of this fairway where Garrett is really cuts off the angle, it's very difficult to attack the tee. Maybe you have a cut roller or a very extreme backhand roller. It's a very difficult angle for the right side of this cup.
Double G appears to be lining up a cut roller forehand. And it gets up on him and it immediately cuts to the left. I don't think it's going to have enough power to find the OB sidewalk on the left side, but he's going to be in a world of trouble from over there. 15 to 20 feet to the right of the fairway here. And at this point, he's just looking for where he could possibly pitch out to.
Yeah, this is a pitch out. He was initially perhaps lining up for a thumber shot over the top, but it is very thick through there. Are not many holes. I imagine that he'll just be trying to get out as far, just out to the fairway as he can, not trying to attack the basket from where he is.
And he's done just that, pitched out into the center of the fairway. Really no forward progress there, but he's really setting himself up for position to try and throw what will be his third shot. And Nate Perkins, I believe, is up to throw next. About 20 the Big Germ just laid up to. As the rain is starting to come down. Thank you guys for joining us as we're moving down hole number 10. This is the fourth hole here during the final round of the 2018 Waco Annual Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Disc. Cameron Frymark along with Miller our home section of the most difficult hole, averaging 4.04. Does he have an alley from over there anywhere?
He may. Yeah, he's looking at going over the top. It's not that high over there, and there may be a window. There's certainly nothing in front of him besides a pitch out.
Double G trying to save the par, and it fights, and he's going to have a look. Looks like he should be able to make it from there. What a great recovery shot. And after Nate Perkins threw a perfect tee shot, his second shot hit a tree, and he's outside the circle, and he's just going to lay this one up. As we already saw throughout the week, there is a hill directly behind this basket, and he's not going to mess with any of that.
Now, Nate is from Texas, and before we redesigned Hole 5, he had the original course record out here, and he knows his course very well.
Oh, and a great bid by Jeremy Koling, but it's short, and Big Germ's going to have to get things together here.
Absolutely. You know, it's tied at the top, starting this event top, and already Nate has a one-stroke lead over these guys.
And it's quite remarkable that McBeth even had a look at birdie.
Yeah, getting around that corner is very difficult if you're not in exactly the right position. He worked that disc very well.
And also a remarkable par save there by Double G. Everybody doing a little bit of scrambling here. It looks. We'll see you guys with clear signal from 11.
I'm Ricky Wysocki, and I'm wondering who's going to be the next generation.
If you didn't take the Next Gen Tour seriously, you definitely should come in future years because it's only going to get better.
Yeah, man. Let's do this, guys.
They're up-and-coming superstars.
Go to a local level, then you qualify for your regional level, then you qualify for a national level. The prizes get bigger, and the pressure gets tougher.
I just, I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a really, really good time.
Perkins going a slight turnover forehand off the tee. It's going to skip the hill and settles within 5 feet of the basket. Very solid shot. McBeth with the same rock that he just threw on hole 10. It's got a beautiful turn to it. And he settles within 15 after just hitting off the tree. And Garrett with a misfire. He wanted that to turn over and he just threw it straight off to the left and hit a tree.
Big Germ keeps it tight with the forehand. That's going to fade down the hill. He's going to have a long look at birdie from the right side. Let's check in with the women.
We move to hole number 11, 264 feet uphill through a tight tunnel shot. Hokom with the 3-stroke advantage, but Paige pulls that one to the right. A little bit of a late release. And not quite enough. Hyzer flip up by Catrina. It looks like she gets a good kick out to the fairway. Should be able to see the pin from there. Hokom, just like the previous 2 days, lacing it right up the middle. This time finishes a little right. She was in a similar position yesterday. A low screamer coming in from Fajkus, just a little too low. And Paige is going to approach up to the green. She'll have a long putt. She's remained bogey-free. That's in jeopardy. Standstill shot for Allen. Puts her 10 feet from the pin. Fajkus has a long runner at a birdie and goes way deep. She's got a tester on the comeback. Paige Pierce for the par. Just squeaks it in there, making the recovery and the scramble here on hole 11. Paige Pierce remains without a blemish. Hokom can't convert on the birdie look. The tester for Fajkus coming back with authority. She'll take the par. Hokom caps in for par. Pars for all 4 women. The scores remain unchanged through hole number 11.
Oh, and that slips out on the right side for Big Germ. He had a great looking putt uphill. However, it slips out to the right. High and tight for McBeth. However, taking the birdie from 22 feet. Perkins is about 15.
Solid birdie putt from May. He's on fire so far at the beginning of this round, and he's holding on to that lead.
Perkins moves to 25 under with that putt. Double G's going to put in for the par, as will Big Germ, and the gallery anxiously moves to the next one.
Bad company corrupts good morals, but this is one criminal you'll want to know. The criminal from Dynamic Discs is the utility driver you need to assault high scores on the course. With more speed than the felon and more stability than the convict, the criminal can be trusted in any situation. Befriend this criminal and start doing some bad things to your course.
With a forehand shot that's hanging too far to the left and gets caught up on a tree. McBeth with the same rock that he threw yesterday on this hole. It's holding the turn, but it might be a little bit too far to the right.
Let's see if Double G turns this over enough, and it looks like he does as it's moving right down to the basket. After seeing that McBeth is parked. Big Germ says 1 over through 5 holes. He's still struggling. He's on the left side. Let's check in with the women.
Through hole 11, Paige Pierce sits 2 under for the round. She's picked up 3 strokes on Hokom. And we move on to hole number 12. Paige's shot is wide to the left. Catrina Allen opting for the forehand today, gets caught by a late tree. It was on the downslope. Hokom coming in, kicks off a branch, finds herself inside the circle. She's looking at about 25 feet for birdie. Lisa Fajkus also with a forehand. It's smooth, it's running, it stays clean, and gets just a foot closer than Hokom's. Paige Pierce on the left side of the fairway hits the tree. What's this? It's rolling to the pin, and then finally stopped by another tree. Catrina has the pitch up, hits the tree.
Big Germ has a line. He's very aggressive with the stroke. It goes a little bit deep. We also, a moment ago, saw Nate Perkins throw his approach shot to right underneath the basket. He'll be tapping in for the 3. And Double G with a long, lofty putt. That is his standard putt. He very much throws it up, lets it hyzer into the basket. It's a great birdie for Double G. And Big Germ's struggles continue. That was just a par, but at every par right now, he's losing ground. Paul McBeth is about to tap in. He's going to take the birdie. And we're going to see the par by Nate Perkins. So 2 birdies and 2 pars. And we're moving on to the next one. We'll see you in a few.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Welcome back. We're here on hole number 13. Paul McBeth on the tee. Paul says he's going to wait a moment.
McBeth makes the same mistake that he made yesterday and gets a similar result. He put that way too high. He was wanting to let the turn over and get out to the left side of the fairway. Gurthie with the more traditional, just slide hyzer, just get it out of the gap and out into the open. Perkins with a similar line, but a lot higher. This one might get a little extra distance. Looks like he's on the left side, but I don't think it's too far off. He'll still have a good angle of the basket for me.
And Big Germ's looking for that to turn over. If it can find itself all the way out the gap and he gets hung up, Big Germ's struggles continue. Moving on to hole number 13, Hokom picked up the stroke on the previous hole, giving herself a 4-stroke advantage. And one of the furthest drives that we've seen, Hokom is out in the fairway in great position. Lisa playing the backhand, gets the skip, also perfect position for this hole. Paige Pierce, mid-range, playing for the accuracy, puts it out there. That's going to be just a bit on that left side, but she should have a good angle. Catrina Allen says, I can do that as well. Left side with the roll, not ideal. We'll see what she has to work with. Fajkus, first to throw. Beelining for the basket and gets it to stick. Fajkus looking for a short birdie putt. Catrina's hyzer gets around and also sticks the landing. No putting required. Catrina under the pin for the birdie. Paige knows it right out of her hand. That's a misfire and it hangs in the tree. There's no 2-meter rule, but that's going to hang up in the tree, giving her a putt from the bottom of the hill. Hokom's forehand is off. She can't capitalize. Paige is going to go with a forehand of her own. It's going to sit down for her. Somehow it stays. All the rolls and the breaks are in Paige Pierce's favor. Hokom can only pitch out. She's going to tap in, take the par, but not lose the stroke, because Paige Pierce also taking the par. Fajkus and Catrina Allen next to the basket. They're taking birdies. And we're moving on to the next one. Is this one? And Big Germ with the forehand. He's heading right at the basket. That's going to come up short. Looked like it had a little bit more on it. It was very deceptive. And as we were walking down the fairway, Cameron, we were talking about it. I do not understand the aggressive play of trying to get the forehand like we saw from McBeth. Big Germ, I can understand. That's his go-to shot. But what is McBeth gaining, even if he executes that forehand perfectly?
Not much. You have to throw it at such an extreme angle, and you're throwing it on a very tight fairway, and as soon as it gets out, it needs to kind of flex back, and so you're doing a lot with this. You're making it do a lot of work. It's a lot easier to just throw the backhand out here like Garrett did. That was an easy, smooth shot, and even if you smash one, it's not so bad over there where the backhands land, whereas the forehand, it is nasty on that right side, so I don't understand it either, Terry.
Well, and we just saw Paul McBeth back on hole 10, pure, one of the smallest, tightest gaps at hundreds of feet away with his rock. And here he goes with his forehand. And again, I understand he's trying to be aggressive. Maybe he's trying to get that eagle look at it, but I'm not sure that the risk is worth the reward. And here we're seeing as a result, he's now pitched out. That was a great out to be where he is, but at best now he's going to get up and down, looking at the par. unless he throws in a miracle shot. And we all know we can never count McBeth out from any given shot, but I'm not sure I'm going to quite lay any odds here in his favor from more than 100 feet away on a hillside. Perkins is on the left side. He's going to have a little bit of a hyzer backhand approach shot. He's probably got a putter in his hands. That looks like a great shot. It needs a little bit more power, and if it's sat for him, he'll have an uphill putt. And McBeth will now be throwing his third shot. He can give this a run. Again, I'm not going to count it though. And McBeth does put it right next to the basket. He's going to take the par. And Double G is going to have a tap-in birdie as we move through the valley here. I'm going to indicate the gallery move to the left side. Keep away from the players that are heading down the hillside. We'll come back up. I see Nate Perkins easily within the circle. Again, looking at 15, maybe 18 feet uphill. Paige Pierce, his caddy on the bag today. And he's going to be out at the moment.
Solid putt they made, enough for a 20-footer right in the center of the chains. Great birdie.
And Big Jerem's going to get a birdie, which I don't think he's seen since hole number 1. So we'll see if Big Jerem can that can be the catalyst to get him back on track. Meanwhile, we've got Paul McBeth. He's going to be putting in from a few feet. And Double G will be tapping in for the very easy birdie. We're moving on to the next one. We'll see you there.
Gurthie with a sonic off the tree hits an early tree and gets a bad kick to the left. It is hairy off to that left side. There's thorns and things that you do not want to be around. Perkins going mid-range forehand off the tee and hangs it too far to the left and gets a kick off to the right. Big Germ has birdied this hole every round so far with that same disc, and it looks like that is closer than he's been so far. McBeth going rock at the tree. Kissed an early tree, but still heading towards the basket. He's going to have an uphill obstructed look at this, but he may still get a 2. We'll see how the ladies did on hole number 14.
Through hole 13, Hokom sits on a 4-stroke lead. Everyone in the same positions they started today's round in. Another forehand. Shot right up the middle. She flirts with that left side, but that'll leave her a putt. You got to be careful. This one's on the hillside. Pierce, smooth, coming up the middle. Gets it to stop just past the basket after coming up short. She's inside 25 feet for a birdie. Hokom, smart, conservative play. Pitches out. Paige is coming back at us. And Paige takes the birdie too. She moves the gap from 4 down to 3. Hokom's tapping in. We're through hole number 14 here at the Waco Annual Charity Open final round.
And Garrett, with the sonic that he threw off the tee, just lays it right up by the basket. McBeth going to a knee, changing his mind. He's got a slightly obstructed lie. He's taking his time to weigh all of his options and find the best line at the basket. And McBeth makes good from 25 feet. Germ's birdie putt has fallen out and is rolling down the hill. He's now 20 feet away. Germ is disgusted with this. He's having a hard time believing that just happened. With McBeth's birdie putt, he is now tied for the lead with Nate Perkins. Germ's taking a moment to collect himself. Germ's par save is in, and he stares it down to make sure that it stays. Some obvious frustration. GG and Nate Perkins will tap in their pars, and we will move on to the long par 5 hole 15. Germ's birdie putt has fallen out and is rolling down the hill. He's now 20 feet away.
Paul McBeth getting ready to tee here on hole number 15.
McBeth with the same T-bird that he threw yesterday says get off that as it kisses off a tree and makes it all the way down to the bowl.
Looks like he might have got away with one there. A little kiss off the tree. Just the slightest of redirects.
And Gurthie with a smooth turnover shot that's starting to hide the route just at the bottom of the hill. Perkins with a turnover shot that's a little on the left side. He gets a good forward skip and he stays in the fairway. That's a solid drive. Jeremy with his hyzer flip-up shot. It's turning a little bit to the left. He wants that to go back to the right, but it's got good distance. And the crowd has to move. That looks like a great shot from here.
Let's check in with the women on 15.
Jeremy with his hyzer flip-up shot. It's turning a little bit to the left. He wants that to go back to the right, but it's got good distance. And the crowd has to move. That looks like a great shot from here.
The par 5, hole number 15, 519 feet. It's a corridor off the tee and plenty of danger. Double, triple ricochet. Playing off 4 or 5 trees on that tee shot by Paige Pierce. Hokom's is smooth at first and lands without hitting a tree. Advantage Hokom. Pierce has to pitch it out. That's her second shot. Finds another tree and another bad kick. Throwing her third shot. Finally getting it down to the landing zone you're looking for. Hokom's ready for her second. Hits the landing zone, gets past it, and puts herself right in the alleyway, trying to attack the pin. Pierce's fourth shot, that's a great tree kick. That puts her next to the pin. She's still trying to remain bogey free here as Hokom puts herself in putting range, and this is Hokom for the birdie, and she cans it. And just like that, the stroke Paige gained on the previous hole is given back to Hokom. The battle continues, 4 strokes separating Paige and Hokom.
Cameron, we've seen some very impressive drives here. 3 out of the 4 making it all the way down this far. We just watched Nate Perkins approach the left side of the bowl. This is double G from the left side. He's reaching up for a forehand.
As he asks for that to turn, it does not, and hits the tree and gets caught up. He may have a long jumper there, but it's a hard Anheuser shot to get there. I imagine he's just going to settle for a birdie on this hole. It's a shame after such a beautiful drive.
After knowing double G as many years as I have, I think it would be a fair statement to say that a forehand shot is not his bread and butter. I feel like that disc had a little bit too much stability. Paul McBeth's got some work to do, but he has a great drive, putting him all the way on the left side of the bowl. And McBeth plays the low forehand skip and skips up right next to the basket. A great effort by McBeth. How many times have you seen a 2 on this hole?
Never.
Well, it's not yet out of the question. Big Germ has yet to throw his second shot. At the same time, we have Nate Perkins throwing his third. It's a very comfortable forehand approach here. And as we feel the raindrops coming back, some of the umbrellas are coming back out. Nate Perkins is going to be right up next to the basket looking at a birdie. Now Big Germ had this huge drive that carried further than everyone else's. He's going to have to use every bit of that 9-foot, 4-inch frame he has to try and outstretch to his right. And I think we're going to see a forehand from him. You really want to take advantage. He needs everything he can get at this point.
Yeah, he is more than a few strokes off the lead. He's just been leading strokes. So getting an eagle here would be great for him. He puts it up high and not as close as any of the other competitors. That's a little surprising.
And we certainly have to talk about Johnny McRae as he is making his charge from the second card. Checking in with udisclive.com, we see that he is 7 under par through 10 holes and is currently in second place, sole possession of second place at the moment. He sits at 25 under par overall. Perkins and McBeth tied at 26. And I think we're going to see McBeth with the outright lead by the end of this hole. And McRae charging 25 under par. Nate Sexton shooting well. He sits at 24 under par, tied with Ricky Wysocki. See if that turns Koling's luck around. McBeth for the tap in. He's going to actually place his mini. Maybe a little bit to do with the footwork. McBeth asked for the gallery just to remain still for a moment as he was putting back directly at them. I don't think anything distracts him. I think he was just doing that for fun.
No, he just likes to be a drama queen. I think it's what's going on.
Double G puts in, as will Perkins, and we're going to move over to hole number 16. Stay tuned. You're watching Live Disc Golf in the conclusion of the 2018 Waco Annual Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Discs.
Tempercraft USA. Double wall 18/8 stainless steel construction keeps it cold while you're hot, keeps it hot while you're cold. Get your customized growlers, tumblers, and sports bottles. With a lifetime warranty and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
Welcome back. We are here on hole number 16, 591 foot par 4.
Got McBeth with a destroyer fatigue. He says get off that as it hits a tree. He stays in the middle of the fairway, so he's fine. It's not but another 350 feet from there to the basket, so he should be okay. Germ lining up a nice turn over forehand. If that just flexes just a little bit, he'll be right in the middle of the fairway and way down there. Great job.
Great correction. We saw Big Germ on the right side the last 2 days.
Garrett, who's known for smashing a disc, keeps this out too high, and too high is what it looks like. If that skipped it on, maybe off the fairway.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Nate Perkins keeps it low and right up the middle. He's going all the way up the fairway. It finishes off to the left. Let's check in with the women.
You told Johnny I'm going to foul with it.
With a 4-stroke lead, Sarah Hokom moves on to hole number 16. Pierce giving it a little extra gas here. And somehow it finds its way back into the fairway. She should have an open look, and she does. The breaks are all going her way. Hokom outdrives Pierce on this hole, and she's got this forehand approach. And as it was coming right to the basket, it gets hung up. Hokom from way outside circle 2. And she's next to the pin. Paige Pierce has a chance to get the strokes back, and she does it. The lead goes from 4 back down to 3. Paige won't let up.
McBeth going with the inside route. However, it hits the tree, and that's going to kick him to the left. And at best, he's going to be looking to get up and down and save the par. easy forehand approach shot, perfectly executed. Beth is on our left side as you're looking at it. I believe he is on the right side. It doesn't look like he fell off nearly as hard as I thought he had. He could have been a world of hurt had he gone down that ravine.
Yeah, just 2 feet further is a hill, and there's just a lot of small bushes and branches in there, and usually if you get in there, it's just a pitch out. He's going to have a few holes and some opportunities to be aggressive. This is a difficult shot.
And McBeth almost found himself a way out. However, he hits one of the trees about 60 feet in front of him. That's going to keep him outside of circle 2. It looks, I would give him roughly 90 feet to the pin still.
Garrett Guthrie threw a smash for but wound up, it looks like about 15 feet off the fairway. He may have some windows in there, but certainly the furthest throw I've ever seen on this hole.
And
Yeah, anybody that has a camera phone that's taking any
Double
pictures,
G.
just make sure you turn your flash off.
Double G noticing a light off to his right-hand side. Thought he saw a flash. Paul McBeth said the same thing on the last hole. Paul McBeth, after putting in his eagle on the previous hole, had said that he thought he saw a camera flash of sorts, whether it was on a phone or something. And it sounds as if that may have distracted Double G just the same. And Double G cleans up. Thank you for your patience as we're working through a few audio challenges out here. We hear the storm is coming. It's less than 30 minutes away. We'll see you on 17. Mark made an announcement to the gallery to make sure that everyone turns off their camera phones and flashes, as we've had a few distractions, and Big Jerome throws a perfect drive here on 17. Double G goes with the backhand and just splits the two trees and finds himself on top of the platform with a great drive by Double G. Just saw lightning a moment ago.
Is that lightning? I'm just gonna wait just like a little bit so there's no horn in the middle.
Please turn your flash off.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm just gonna wait just a little bit so there's no horn in my swing.
And we heard a
we're
hearing a loud rumble after a moment ago. We saw the flash come through, and Nate Perkins is going to take a moment. I think we're waiting to see if we're going to hear any kind of official call to possibly delay this, and I think if we delay it, I'm not sure that we'll find ourselves back out here. Nate Perkins teeing off. Perkins' forehand is smooth and heading up the left side, but hits on the left side and gets knocked down. Paul McBeth with his McPro Rock 3. And McBeth is going right up the middle. He also hits one of the single trees. We'll see you guys on the green. Well, we have two options. We either kill the microphone, which is fine.
Through hole 16, Hokom's advantage is still 3 strokes. Everyone else where they started the day. Hole number 17 looks a lot like hole number 11. A tight gap up the middle. Paige throws the putter and gets it to stick on the hillside. Hokom's drive is coming in. It's a little right. Will it sit? No, it gets on edge and rolls backward back into the middle of circle 2. She's got a long look. She needs it to sit. She's there. She's going to muster up the par. Meanwhile, Paige Pierce, another birdie. She pulls within 2 strokes of Hokom.
Paul McBeth from way outside circle 2 hits a tree. Work to do from outside circle 1. And Perkins with a great run that hits off the front of the basket. He's also fortunate that sat down for him. He was giving it a run at birdie. McBeth splashes out, and that one is rolling down the hill, and that is going to be in jail for Paul McBeth. What a turn of events. We have to start talking right now about the idea that if this were to get called early, what this hole will mean in terms of the championship. Nate Perkins underneath the tree. Paul McBeth looking for he can make this putt. He does in position right now. And in and out again for McBeth, and I'm going to tell you right now, this will be the deciding hole here, hole number 17. Meanwhile, Jeremy Koling is also right up near the basket. He's looking at a birdie. Koling could pull himself into the tie with Nate Perkins, assuming he makes his short birdie putt. And that looked like it wanted to slice through. Cameron, you've got a grin on your face. That looked like that might have come right through with that hyzer putt.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing him putt, and he just lofts it up on a hyzer angle, which I think is very dangerous, but he's pretty good at it. That was a solid putt, and yeah, it looked like it was cutting through, but this has been fun to watch.
And Perkins puts in. We're going to get clarification as to where the holes are cut. I've heard at the 9 and 13 hole marks. Either way, we'll be back with you in a few.
This is Dan, and this is Tyler. Dan and Tyler like disc, and they like beer, so they combine them in a rigorous scientific process. Disc Golf, a card game that challenges your disc skills, drinking ability, and your friendships. With 3 categories and over 50 individual cards, mix and match. Get rid of cards you don't like, or make your own rules. Disc Golf is truly American.
Here are the top 5 putts from the 2017 Waco Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. Number 5, Will Shoestrick on hole 2. Number 4, Ricky Wysocki, hole 10.
See, after the round you were talking about this hitting a branch and going in, but I think it would have gone in either way. The branch didn't really affect it.
Number 3, Jeremy Koling, hole 4.
That was a must get there.
Must make. You got the powerful fist bump and everything.
Number 2, Ricky Wysocki, hole 16.
Ricky with the swan. It's just insane.
When you're playing with Ricky and he does that, it's like just, of course. At least it makes him smile.
Speaking of Simon Lizotte, a huge putt in round 1 for birdie. He had the putter going straight.
And Big Germ tees here on hole number 18, the par 5, 609 feet. And tough to tell exactly.
Nearly took the head off of the Jomez cameraman.
Michael, who's never been hit, trying to keep that streak alive. Looks like we're good now, Double G says. Double G throwing the mid-range turnover off the tee. I like the fade on that. He likes it as well.
And Perkins with a power forehand. This has a good angle for skipping. It looks like he's made the corner. Should be out in the middle.
It's 3 drives, middle of the fairway. McBeth also with a forehand. Not quite as much carry because it had a little bit more wide, but a great skip and out in the middle of the fairway. We'll see you after the ladies.
Hole number 18, a par 5, 609 feet. Paige Pierce, bogey free, sitting 5 under on the round. Her tee shot's coming in with a turnover putter, and that leaks over to the left side. She should be okay. Sarah Hokom to answer. The forehand sets up perfectly. She'll be obstructed just as Pierce is. She outstretches to her right. She's got the forehand trying to bend it around on her second shot, and it keeps her in the fairway. Her third shot, trying to get up the hill onto the putting green. It hits on the left side and rolls back just a bit. She's looking to get out of jail, and she's put herself up there. Short putt for Hokom. Oh, and a rare miss. She's been putting so hot this weekend. Hokom for bogey, and she puts in. She's going to give a stroke back to Pierce, who pars it.
And Perkins hugs that left side. He's going to have some work to do.
Garrett didn't have the longest stride, but he had the best position. If this holds that Anheuser angle, he will have a great look for eagle from up there.
Garrett finds himself within 20 feet of the pin. Looking at an easy eagle. Big Germ. Looks like he's lining up a forehand. Big Germ confirming as to where he can position his foot in relation to the mandatory. So Big Germ clarifying that he can in fact step himself out a little to the left side as you play to the mandatory, as opposed to playing to the basket on in line with the basket, whatever I'm trying to spit out.
And if this high is high and has enough speed to get there, it just needs some skip love. And he's going to have a good look at eagle from there. 2 eagles on one card. That's going to be impressive to see. And Paul still has a chance at his too.
I believe we see Big Germ on the right side, possibly circle's edge with some roughage. Everyone is checking their phones, keeping an eye on the radar at the moment. Paul McBeth just looked at my phone, wondering if it was in fact going to be south of us. Tough to tell. I've actually had to remove my sunglasses. It's getting that dark here, folks, as the rain starts coming down again. We hear a rumble as Paul McBeth releases a shot. It somehow stays clean and it hits a root and does not continue forward. McBeth not happy with his shot. Nate Perkins on the left side below the hill. It's got about 100 feet to the pin.
Get it.
I'd give him 90, I should say. McBeth, 12 feet outside circle 2.
And he's got this high enough to get there, and just off the top of the basket.
As we said, Big Germ in the rough on the right-hand side. He's at least 10 feet inside the circle, so he's looking at no more than 23, maybe 25 feet here. And he doesn't hesitate as he puts that one up and cards the eagle. Looking at a pretty impressive set of scores here on hole number 18.
Yeah, and Germ just took sole possession of the lead as well. If we get some more golf, then it'll be interesting to see what happens. His lead keeps changing.
Double G with a short hyzer putt. One of the easiest eagles I think you'll ever see. Well, you'll see ever executed. I'm not sure I see too many of those out here when I'm out here playing, in a few lightning flashes a moment ago. And Paul McBeth, he's going to have to settle, dare I say, for the birdie. And Nate Perkins, I believe, will be doing the same. We hear the loud thunder rumbling through. We're moving on to hole 1. We'll see you in a few. Maybe.
I see what you mean about the video.
Looks like Jeremy is throwing his Roadrunner, which I believe is his roller disc. Would not be surprised to see him put this on the ground on this hole. He hits an early tree. It does roll a little bit, but not at all what he wanted. It is finally settled. Garrett, who is a member of the 800-foot club, has plenty of power to get there on this. He keeps it high and a little turned. It just needs to get clean. It slows him down a little bit, but he is well on the fairway. The Coward likes it. Nate with the backhand and just gets by the Mando and holds high as... Oh, it gets a late kick, but it stays in bounds. And McBeth, I believe this is one of his overstable destroyers. He threw this yesterday on the last hole, all hyzer. And this is holding hyzer the whole way. He gets a big skip at his weight on the fairway. We'll see how the ladies did on hole 1.
Paige Pierce, without a blemish, is sitting at 5 under for the round and has narrowed the gap to 1 single stroke. And she laces her drive on hole number 1. 555-foot par 4. The position is as good as it gets, and Hokom's going to try and take as many trees out of play as possible, playing it to the wide left side. Yesterday she threw OB, hanging it wide to the sidewalk. Today she keeps it in bounds, and she'll have a putt. Looking at a birdie, Paige with a standstill on her crush and puts it within 10 feet of the pin. Hokom for the birdie. And as if she can feel Paige breathing down her neck, she doesn't draw a medal. Paige with a birdie, and we're knotted up with just 6 holes to play.
And as we feel the rain becoming more and more steady, we're watching Big Germ throw his approach shot. See if he gets a little bit of a skip. He's going to come up short of the pin, but he'll have a look at birdie from there. Nate Perkins is still on the platform, ready to throw his second shot. He's got a backhand lined up. Relatively clean from that angle.
Yeah, there's a pretty open hyzer shot from there. He's just going to throw it towards the bathrooms, but come inside of the V tree to the left of it. It's a little bit low. Yeah, that's a little bit of a misfire, which is a shame because he is so close to the lead at this point.
So as we have been told, and we're just passing on information, I've never claimed to have correct information, as I've been told, if the players get through this hole, hole number 1, that will be enough holes to be considered a full round, even if they cannot complete any remaining holes after this. So if they were to play all the way till the middle of, say, hole number 6, which would be their last hole, but then it had to get called, this would constitute as a completed round back to the scores at the end of this hole.
It sounds like you're making stuff up, Terry.
I am. I'm trying to put out a bunch of words and not screw up. It's really tough to do. I guess in summation, if the round is not completed, they would go back to the scores at the end of this hole. That's maybe a little bit cleaner way to put it out for you. As Paul McBeth, even after skipping up and hitting this tree, kicking back, he still is looking at about 120 feet to the pin.
He's going for this, but it is way too far to the right. Never had a chance.
And McBeth can have an easy tap-in birdie from there. I guess the real question is, are the players aware? Of course they're aware of the conditions. Of course they're aware of what may potentially happen in terms of the weather rolling in. Are they aware of the scores as to how many holes they've completed? Big Germ may have secured himself a victory by taking an eagle on that previous hole. And that may come back to bite Nate Perkins later as he is off the rim and looking at a par. And right now, Garrett Guthrie is waiting on some of the spectators which are walking out behind the basket. They seem to be moving away. They're probably going for shelter or cover at the moment. And he's just waiting for everyone to find their fixed position. He's just a few inches inside the circle. And Gurthie splashes left side, not quite enough power. I think Double G's a little bit frustrated by some of the activities going around. And what did we just see?
Well, my jaw just dropped. We just saw Germ splash the left side of the basket from all of 15 feet. He didn't take very much time on that. Felt like it was a gimme, and one got away from him. This leaves the door open for Nate if we play more holes. And Nate puts his in from 15 feet. Very nice. Paul taps in his birdie, and Garrett will tap in his par, as will Jerm.
We're moving over to hole number 2. The drama continues.
In 2008, Balcones was nothing more than an idea, driven by a passion to create something original and authentic, right here in the heart of Texas. We've made a significant investment, not only in our operations and whiskeys, but in the community.
And at this point, Paul McBeth hopes that they play on. Now that we are through 13 holes, if it were to get called early, Big Jerm would be your outright winner.
The viewers may not believe this, but that drive was an improvement on yesterday's drive for McBeth.
You're right, McBeth with a very awkward misfire yesterday as he threw it directly into the ground. Meanwhile, Big Jerm has some momentum, finding himself just 15 feet from the pin. Big Jerm's in really good position. Not only was he in the lead after 13 holes, but right now he's setting himself up for a birdie here on the 14th hole. Double G throwing that same mid-range. I believe that's a rock. He's gone deep of the basket. I believe he's still going to be in bounds, but he throws so effortless, as you said, a member of the 800-foot club. I think we're going to see a lot more of Double G on tour and on the leader cards here in 2018. Nate Perkins, he's got to get this together. Start out the day in the lead, and now you see him chasing Big Jerm. He's a stroke behind him. Can he match him? And he's done just that. Let's see how the women did earlier on hole 2.
Erasing a 6-stroke deficit, Paige Pierce is tied with Sarah Hokom. Throwing through the triple Mando. Thank you to our Zuka kart partner on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Paige with a light misfire, but Hokom's going to come at it with the forehand. And they're going to find themselves right next to one another. Both of them just inside the circle and splashing out. Nothing's going Hokom's way. Paige Pierce has the opportunity from just 6 inches closer. And it finally drops in. She's going to take the outright lead. 5 holes to play. Paige Pierce is on fire.
They have also moved into a tie for second place right now. Believe it or not, this battle is actually getting tighter as we move down the fairway. A moment ago, I had mentioned that Big Jerm and Nate Perkins going back and forth. Big Jerm had a very, very rough start. He has since turned it around and finds himself back in the lead, which is where he did start the day. Of course, Big Jerm also your defending champion after winning the playoff last year. Double G is just a step outside of the circle. Looking at birdie.
He's up and to the right and just off the cage. Paul McBeth from just a few steps inside the circle for his par putt.
One thing we have to talk about is McBeth puts in for his par is today he didn't start out nearly as hot as he did yesterday, but he did start out really solid today. Now we're moving into the latter third of the course. This is where he struggled yesterday, and today I feel like we're seeing the same thing. I'm not sure this hole is completely indicative of that, but here we are on hole number 2, and Paul McBeth has to make a decent-sized putt just to save his par. Not sure what it is with him finishing out this particular course, but if he wants any chance at hunting down these leaders, he's going to need to turn it up in the next few holes. I'm expecting a huge throw from him on the next hole. I bet you Double G is going to be putting for eagle as well. We're moving on to 3. And Big Germ going with a forehand. We saw him hit the pole during the first day. We saw him go short and right the second day. Today he splits the difference, and we just saw another somewhat of a flash of lightning. Unless you guys have other terms for that here in Texas.
I can't think of any, Terry.
And I like Nate Perkins' play. He's going to find himself right in the center of the fairway, just short of the post. As I would expect right now, I think we're going to see both Double G and Paul McBeth absolutely crush these drives. They have nothing to lose right now. Time is running out. We see other players chasing them down from the second card. I expect Paul McBeth to give this everything he's got. There's really no point in being short.
He's going with that overstable destroyer again. We've got a pretty good tailwind. This may go out of bounds. Oh, and he is saved by a metal pole.
He is, in fact, saved by the pole. Last year we saw James Conrad during the playoff, that slip out on him on the left side. This time, Paul McBeth hits the pole and stays inbounds. Double G, I'm guessing, is going to outdrive that.
It's significantly higher, and it's got a bit more turn. It's holding straight, but again, that is coming in hot on the green.
Out of the way. And it ultimately kicks off the grass and skips OB. Let's check in with the women.
He's going with that overstable destroyer again. We've got a pretty good tailwind. This may go out of bounds. Oh, and he is saved by a metal pole.
He is, in fact, saved by the pole.
The bogey-free 7-under round by Paige Pierce has her a one-stroke lead. And she's going to open it up here on hole 3. The par 4, 558 feet. She gets the kick. The caddy says it was coming in either way. Nothing can go wrong for Pierce. And Hokom, like she doesn't even feel it, puts it right into the center of the fairway. Matching shot for shot. She's even closer than Pierce. A light wind. Paige is asking for it to go in, as if everything else hasn't already gone her way. Hokom plays the flex shot out and around, and she's going to curl it right to the basket. They're going back and forth. Birdie by Pierce. Hokom with the birdie.
Cameron, I really like the play. Nate Perkins, who's usually a little bit slower and methodical, had his disc dry. He had it ready to go, and he was stepping up, and he knew he wanted to throw right away. Not experiencing any winds right now, but he's just trying to keep things dry. And so as he was walking up, he had everything prepared and ready to go. Big Germ taking a little bit more time. He's got an easy forehand lined up. And he goes with a high, and that's coming in short. And it's going to just get past the basket. He's fine. However, it's worth noting, he just missed from inside that distance a few minutes ago, back on hole number 1. McBeth has a long look at an eagle putt from here. McBeth about 78 feet from the pin.
Had plenty of glide to get there, but just fell out of the sky at the end. We're looking at Garrett's drive, and he is nearly pin high, but just barely OB on this 550-plus foot hole. A very impressive drive.
Paul McBeth needed about 6 more inches to get up and over the basket. Double G's going to confirm that he's got a spot. He is putting for a birdie still after throwing OB. And the gallery loves it as Double G saves the birdie. Kind of funny to say that you're saving the birdie.
That is the first circle 3 I've ever seen on this hole.
Big Germ's going to be putting directly back at us.
And the gallery.
And the gallery. We'll have to make sure that he waits for everyone to grab their positions to stand still. Big Germ off the front of the basket. He took a little more time than we expect from him. Usually on the relatively short putts, he gets up and throws right away. He definitely thought about that one a little longer than he typically does. And we're going to see Nate Perkins. He's going to be tapping in for an easy birdie. And just like that, Nate Perkins is going to be tied for the lead. And Paul McBeth takes the birdie. We'll see you on the next one. And again, I love the play. Nate Perkins up and ready to fire. He's going to be short and low. Yesterday, was that yesterday? We saw 4 really bad drives here. We'll see how anyone can adjust today. The wind has picked up. We're feeling some light rain that we didn't have yesterday. But we're already have improved. We've got 1 drive inbounds.
Yeah, he's not being aggressive on this hole, not going for the eagle, but I imagine that every other player on this card will be going for the eagle as Paul McBeth throws that overstable destroyer way to the right side, skipping. Looks like he is about just outside of circle 2 by maybe 20 feet or so. I'm very excited to see what Garrett's going to do on this hole. And a high smash on the right side. He needs to get some fade out of that.
And what do you say to that, Cameron? You need to pick your jaw up off the ground. Have you seen anyone ever drive it that close in the air here?
No. Simon hasn't even come close.
And Big Germ throws that roller right over our head. He's going to need for that to stand up. It's going to get a very late turn. I like the adjustment. And that is curling toward the basket. He's going to have a long look at eagle or at least an easy birdie. We'll see you after the women here on 16. Oh.
Pierce with the 1-stroke advantage and just 3 holes to play. She's sitting 8 under par and flawless this round. She lets a rip go here on hole number 4. It's going to challenge the OB, but she clears it easily. Hokom's forehand turns over, but not quite enough. She's still got good distance and a great look at the pin. Hokom runs up for her approach shot. Plays the skip from the left side and puts herself in birdie range. She made everything from that distance yesterday. Pierce's standstill after her crushing drive puts her right next to the basket. Hokom with the doinker off the front. And Paige is now going to move to a 2-stroke advantage with just 2 holes to play. Advantage Pierce.
Right now we see Nate Perkins currently tied for the lead at 30 under par. Nate Sexton sits at 29 under par along with Johnny McRae. And that is going to be a drop-in birdie for Nate Perkins. That's going to push him to 31 under par. We're going to see at least a birdie out of Big Germ. We'll see that if he even thinks about running it for an eagle. But we're going to see, we should see at least a birdie out of Big Germ here.
Yeah, this is an elevated pin, but Germ is an elevated person, so it's less of an obstacle for him. So he's certainly going to run that eagle, and should he not get it, he should be just fine for his birdie still. So this is still very interesting golf.
There is so much momentum to be had right now, because if Big Germ could convert on this eagle and pick up a stroke by taking an eagle on the 16th hole, you'd have a little bit of breathing room moving into 2 of the most challenging holes to finish, as McBeth is coming in from almost 100 feet and right out of his hands. It looked good to us, but out of his hands, he knew that was off the mark.
Yeah, he was jumping around and he was a little bit frustrated with that. It was certainly high enough, but I guess just not the right line, a little too left. And Germ from just inside of circle 2. This might pad his stats a little bit.
And I think back to the Memorial a few years ago where we saw Big Germ throw up a big lofty turnover putt. That one went in front of the basket. He was definitely giving it a run, but he wanted to be very careful of the angle that it came down. He didn't want to blow past this basket. We've seen him struggle the last few holes on very short putts. Meanwhile, Double G is inside the circle by a full meter, and he's looking at an eagle. Double G from 28. And the crowd pleaser that he is, Double G, Garrett Guthrie with the eagle, and Paul McBeth, who very much has a all-or-nothing mentality. If he doesn't win a tournament, he truly doesn't even care where he finishes from what he's relayed to others. Right now he's going for everything, and he's looking at a birdie, but he's run out of holes.
He's got no problem. It's raining a little bit out here, and he doesn't have a towel in his hands. We saw him putt with a wet putter yesterday, but you were right. I believe Aristotle said if you're not first, you're last, and that is Paul's mentality.
Both him and Albert Einstein. All right, we're moving on. We've got just 2 to play.
The Dynamic Disc Recruit is a tournament quality basket at a practice level price. The Recruit is the ultimate basket for backyard practice or temporary courses. Get ready for tournaments. Get better. Get the recruit.
Right side, he needs to get some fade out of that.
And what do you say to that? And he's looking at an eagle. Double G from 28. And the crowd pleaser that he is, Double G.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour and the Waco Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Discs, presents the top 5 approach shots from 2017. Number 5, Eagle McMahon on hole 13. Number 4, Ricky Wysocki, hole 16. Number 3, Jeremy Koling, way left on hole 13. Number 2, Ricky Wysocki, hole 6. And our number 1 approach at the Waco, Greg Barsby, hole 13. Thanks for watching those amazing shots from the Waco Charity Open in 2017. The 2018 Waco Charity Open starts Thursday, March 15th and runs through Saturday, March 17th. Live broadcast starts at 4 p.m. Eastern every day.
Oh, is that the horn?
And as we were standing here on our 17th hole, there's a question as if we have just in fact heard the rain delay. And we are bringing in Steve Dodge of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, yelling at all of us, the competitors, and everyone else, letting us know that we are officially going to rain delay. Well, we're a little bit out of a loss here, actually, as Todd, our cameraman, is moving to us. Cameron and I will try to give you guys the best updates that we can. And Cameron, so typically the protocol, I believe, at this point is that you must stand down and wait for at least 30 minutes after the last strike of lightning is seen. They've just blown the horn, so that means we're going to have at least a 30-minute delay right now. I know we're for sure going to be able to give you the final few holes on the women's coverage, and from there I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do. I think we're going to check in with the Pro Tour, find out what we need to do. You got any thoughts for us?
This has been really exciting golf. I just wish that the few lightning bolts that are around would go away for a little bit so we can finish out these last 2 holes, because it's so tight at the top. I want to see what happens next.
I do. We've got just 2 holes left to play. Of course, as you said, very tight at the top. Jeremy Koling, Nate Perkins, all knotted up at 31 under par. We have, I think, 2 or 3 competitors sitting at 29 under par. And we have 2 very challenging par 4s to finish out on. Anything can happen. The rain is coming down more steady. We're going to stand down for a few minutes. We're going to listen to a few words from our sponsors, or maybe a lot of words from our sponsors. And we'll also check in with the completion of the women's coverage. I'm sure we'll be able to give you that as a very exciting finish. So for Cameron and myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and that random guy walking through, we're going to go ahead and we're going to see you guys after a few moments and after we figure out what's going on with the rain delay. We'll see you soon. That is not a gimme on the way back up. Jeremy Koling from about 42 feet. And it gives himself the fist pump. Our lead card tomorrow is going to consist of Paul McBeth, who's going to birdie here on our final hole. I don't believe I just saw. Our lead card tomorrow is going to consist of Paul McBeth, who's going to birdie here on our final hole. I don't believe I just saw. That's solid.
There you go. Devin from outside.
Go Big German. Big Germ hoping to play a little bit of a skip up the hillside. It's what we would expect, Conrad.
Germ opts for the forehand with the second fireman.
Not taking advantage of the 213-footer. Lisa Fajkus, another forehand, and Lisa Fajkus hitting the basket.
Paul from 2 feet outside the circle has no problem with it. Paul from 2 feet outside the circle has no problem with it.
He's fully committed, and bang, bang, Paige Pierce.
And everything that they do in disc golf, and like you were saying, from that knee put, it's really hard to just generate all the power you need without leaning forward or falling forward. Germ converts on it. Greg, after hitting a tree, puts his approach just under the basket.
And making sure he gets that one high enough and up and over the edge.
There you go. Devin from outside.
Dial this one in.
He's throwing one of his overstable putters, and it skips, but he settles just fine underneath the basket.
And McBeth remains perfect, 6%. Big Germ fully committed to that one as I'm looking. And from 34 feet and with a little. We've moved over here to hole number 1. Big Germ going with a backhand roller. I love the shot. How's the result?
Looks fantastic. That's one of the further drives you're going to see. That's 2 in a row. I believe we saw Germ putt from that exact. Yeah, we've got some gusting winds, but he's got this high enough that it's going to be all right. And it settles right near the pin.
Oh my goodness.
And Greg cleans up his birdie from about 20. James has to throw very close to a tree and just past another tree and hits the basket. Varsby going forehand firebird with nice turn and good height. This is hitting the hill and settles right by the basket.
And a collective pause by
driving a forehand upshot that he did well in previous event.
Oh, and what a carom off the basket there. That was.
From just outside the circle was able to put it in.
2 blemishes thus far And she's outside circle 1, looking at 38 feet. And she bangs it. Sarah Hokom.
A huge moment here for Big Germ. That looks like it's cleared everything. It's going out and over. And unfortunately, Germ's waiting, and he gets the call from the rest of the gallery that can see where it's landed. They putt from just outside the circle here. This could really put a stamp on the final few shots. No, he is just off the... Yeah, just squeaking it over. Oh, and that slips out on the right side for Hines.
Paul McBeth with the same rock that he threw yesterday in this hole. It's holding the turn, but it might be a little bit too far to the right.
He's losing ground. Paul McBeth is about to tap in. He's going to take the birdie.
And McBeth makes good from 25 feet. Germ's birdie putt has fallen out and is rolling down the hill. He's now 20 feet away. Jeremy with his hyzer flip-up shot. It's turning a little bit to the left. He wants that to go back to the right, but it's got good distance. And the crowd has to move. That looks like a great shot from him.
And McBeth plays the low forehand skip and skips up right next to the basket. A great effort.
Garrett didn't have the longest drive, but he had the best position. If this holds that Anheuser angle, he will have a great look for eagle from up there.
You're right, McBeth with a very awkward misfire yesterday as he threw it directly into the ground. Meanwhile, Big Germ has some momentum, finding himself just start out the day in the lead, and now you see him chasing Big Germ. He's a stroke behind him. Can he match him? And he's done just that. Let's see how the women did earlier.
He's going with that overstable destroyer again. We've got a pretty good tailwind. This may go out of bounds. Oh, and he is saved by a metal pole.
He is, in fact, saved by the...
Yes, baby!
And the gap. And Big Germ off the front of the bat.
Very excited to see what Garrett's going to do on this hole. And a high smash on the right side. He needs to get some fade out of that.
And what do you say to that? He tied for the lead at 30 under par. Nate Sexton sits at 29 under par along with Johnny McRae. And that is going to be a drop-in bird. And he's looking at an eagle. Double G from 28. And the crowd pleaser that he is. Double G.
Pierce with the one-stroke advantage and just 3 holes to play. She's sitting 8 under par and flawless this round. She lets a rip go here on hole number 4. It's going to challenge the OB, but she clears it easily. Hokom's forehand turns over, but not quite enough. She's still got good distance and a great look at the pin. Hokom runs up for her approach shot. Plays the skip from the left side and puts herself in birdie range. She made everything from that distance yesterday. Pierce's standstill after her crushing drive puts her right next to the basket. Hokom with the doinker off the front. And Paige is now going to move to a 2-stroke advantage with just 2 holes to play. Advantage Pierce. Paige Pierce with a 2-stroke lead going into the most difficult hole on the course. Pierce has gone long in OB over the driveway in the pass. This time she lays up with a putter. for better position. Hokom's forehand sets up perfectly, just trying to make the bend to get a look at the basket. Pierce, after long discussion, decides she's going to lay it up, and she grip locks it OB to the right. Massive mistake by Pierce, opening the door for Sarah Hokom, who's throwing her second shot and finds herself right near the circle. Pierce with her forehand. She's fighting to get out, and she's near circle 2. Hokom's just waiting, and Pierce running, trying not to give up the lead. We've got to chase it down. Is she going to find her second OB? No, she's safe. Hokom misses the birdie, but she's still going to pick up strokes. Paige Pierce from the corner misses, grabs chain. Easy comeback all day. And Paige Pierce, who hasn't bogeyed all day long, is going to lose 4 strokes to Sarah Hokom as she's going to card a snowman. The 8 with just 1 hole left to play. Advantage Hokom. The crazy turn of events put Sarah Hokom up by 2. Just a few moments ago, she was down by 2. And she's going to lay it up, play it safe on 18. And after a pair of skips, she finds herself short and left. OB wall. Nobody crushes like Paige Pierce. She's going to go for the green, 492 feet, and easily clears it. The crowd erupts. Hokom's got a little work to do. She says she can't make it all the way over the water from that spot, so she's going to lay it up. She finds herself right next to 2 of her card mates, and she just has to throw it over and put herself... Oh, and past the basket. Pierce for eagle. And Catrina's jumping in the background. What a run by Paige Pierce. Sarah Hokom needs the putt. Sarah Hokom's up, and the flutter tells it all. Hokom, not the confidence we saw from days 1 and 2. And with that, Sarah Hokom lets her 7 strokes dwindle, and she's passed today by the 4-time Women's World Champion, Paige Pierce, who seems unbeatable.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Waco Annual Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Disc Champion, Paige Pierce.
Ryan Draper on the call, and Paige has to contain her emotions. She battled hard, and she's your champion here in Waco. We'll see you at the next one. Hello everyone, and welcome to the final round of the 2018 Waco Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Disc. Your women's leader, Sarah Hokom, is on the tee with a 6-stroke advantage. If anyone's going to catch her today, I'm guessing it's either Paige Pierce or Catrina Allen. They're both within striking distance if they can have a great round. Hokom plays up against the blackinkdisc.com wall just as she did the day before. And a bank shot for Paige Pierce. She plays it off the wall. Yesterday, Catrina Allen started with a very rough go at it here on hole number 1 with 5 putts, and today she's going to try and eliminate all of those by putting it right next to the basket. And Lisa Fajkus, trying to avoid the tree that she hung up on earlier in the week, goes OB, comes back, and gets the green flag. She's inbounds and safe here on her tee shot. Lisa Fajkus gonna nestle it right up next to the pin. She'll be able to walk away with a par. Hokom can strike first with a jumper from circle 2. Instead, she's right next to the pin. And Paige Pierce is going to immediately get a stroke here on the first hole. She's going to trim that lead by 1. And Catrina Allen looking to start off so much better than she did the day before. And up and in for the easy birdie. Park job, Catrina Allen getting started here on the first hole. Very overcast. Threat of rain. I don't think we're going to see it during the women's round here in the earlier morning, as we see Hokom and Lisa both with pars. The lead is just 5. We move over to hole number 8, coming in at 516 feet. This is a par 4 and a smash by Paige Pierce. Plays up the right-hand side. She's pushing to the left. Shoves a little bit of obstruction from there. Catrina's more hyzer. Hits the tree. But she's going to get a good roll into the fairway. She'll have a little bit more room to work with from there. Hokom with 2 pinpoint accurate shots yesterday put her underneath the basket for the birdie. Today she hits the tree on the left side. She'll still try to work that left side angle. And Lisa Fajkus, I love the play, out wide to the right, giving herself plenty of room and probably the easiest approach. Catrina working with her footwork. Looks like she might have slipped a little. Finds herself just outside circle 1. And Hokom can still take the wide route out to the left. She's looking for a little more skip than it gives her. And you can see the flag is barely moving. We may have a calm day just like we did on day number 2. Paige Pierce has a look at eagle from a little over 100 feet. How ridiculous. She's giving it a run. And she'll find herself less than 10 feet right side of the pin. Sarah Hokom can birdie from middle of circle 2. Instead, next to the pin. Catrina Allen about 40 feet to the pin for the birdie. And her putt seems to be just off. She goes high and wide. Lisa Fajkus can birdie from inside the circle, just inside 30 feet there. In and out. Fajkus in disbelief. She's going to have to shake that off. It was a solid putt and a great putt by Catrina. Looks like the shorter one, she's going to step up and just throw it in there, trying to alleviate anything jumbling around in her mind there. Paige Pierce opens the round with back-to-back birdies. She's already trimmed the lead from 6 down to 4 in the first 2 holes. She's on a hunt for Hokom. We're going to move on to the par 3, hole number 9. Both Paige Pierce and Catrina Allen under par through the first 2 holes. Hole 9, 294 feet. We see wide hyzer routes, and we also see up the middle. Paige has struggled here all 3 rounds. We've yet to see her get one close. Catrina gets around the tree, but she'll be short. Hokom made a great putt here yesterday. And today she's going to flirt with being just inside the circle 1. Not quite wide enough for Fajkus. It had the right speed and angle. She just needed it a foot wider. And she finds another tree between her and their basket. She's going to have to dial it in. Paige with a lunging jump putt. She's going to be next to the pin. This may be her first par of the round. Catrina, no options other than the layup. And from just inside the circle, Lisa Fajkus is trying to save her par. And bangs it. Center chain, Lisa Fajkus, elevated basket. She'll walk away with her 3rd par in a row. Sarah Hokom converts. She's going to get a stroke back. Hokom's first birdie of the round. The flags are calm, the humidity is up, the temperatures are mild, and we're looking at hole number 9. Paige Pierce will need this for her par. And this time she dials it in. She's had struggles on this basket in the first 2 rounds. Paige Pierce now 5 back, leading into the par 4. Hole number 10. A very rough 441-foot par 4. Multiple bends and turns to it. And Hokom hits the left side. And it sticks on the left side. Had that kicked out, it would have been far less punishing. Pierce goes with a putter that doesn't fully make the bend, but she does get the kick out. What difference will that make between the two of them? Catrina Allen.
Get off the sidewalk.
And welcome back. Just a moment ago we heard the horn sounding, this time to let us know that we're back with the action. Cameron Frymark and Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. We've got Double G on the tee pad on our 17th hole, which is known as hole number 5, and Double G doesn't quite get all the way to the corner. He could have used a little bit more power.
Yeah, he threw that same mid-range that he's been throwing all around, and it was a good angle on the turnover, but just a little bit tight. Where he's at right there is it's good distance-wise, but he's going to not be able to see the basket, and he's going to have a tough decision on his upshot.
Nate Perkins on the tee with a forehand shot, and he's coming at us. He's going to have more power and distance and a great angle. We'll see if it sits down. It does just that. If he throws a nearly identical second shot, he's going to be next to the pin.
Yeah, and I was told that Sexton is currently down on the putting green within 25 putting for his birdie. So it is very close at the top right now. McBeth lining up the same forehand shot, but going significantly wider. He gets a great skip and a good forward roll, and he is going to have a great position there to attack the basket.
You see him no more than 25 feet from where Perkins just landed. Right now we've got Nate Perkins and Jeremy Koling tied at 31 under par. Sexton, McRae, and McBeth all currently sitting at 29 under par. The 231s are sitting on top again. Perkins and Koling at 31 under par. Koling making sure he's got a firm grip, a dry grip here on his disc. The one advantage to the rain delay is that everyone could grab some fresh towels for the last few holes, and Jeremy Koling is just feet away from Paul McBeth. We'll see you back in a few moments after a word from our sponsors.
Hey there everybody, I'm Steve Dodge. This is the Next Generation Tour.
If you didn't take the Next Gen Tour seriously, you definitely should come in future years, because it's only going to get better.
Let's do this, guys.
They're up-and-coming superstars.
Go to a local level, then you qualify for your regional level, then you qualify for a national level. The prizes get bigger, and the pressure gets tougher.
I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a really, really good time.
And welcome back as we are here on our 17th hole. We're just watching the second card walk off of the green. And a moment ago, we see that Nate Sexton remains at 29 under par. Double G is at 28. Johnny McRae slips down to 28 under par.
That was intense.
As Johnny McRae walked by a few moments ago, wondering where the heck I've been. Johnny, we've been right here on this lead card. We've been waiting for you, buddy. We usually do see him on top of the leaderboards. This is a crucial throw for Nate Perkins. And it looks like he's going to be short and gets a good skip, but he stays in bounds. He's got a putt for birdie from there.
Yeah, it's going to be a pressure putt. It's a tester, but he may be able to make that. I believe that Nate Sexton just missed his birdie putt on this hole, so that leaves him out of contention for first, barring some screw-ups from these guys on this hole.
And Big Germ with a much easier approach than he had yesterday. He's hanging that way out over the water. It's coming and it's going to hit the hillside, and it does get up and over. Big Germ is on safely in the green. He struggled with those short to medium distance putts. That has to be lingering in his mind right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a few putting woes today. I'm thinking back to hole 1, the 20-footer or so that he thought was easy and didn't take much time on, but he'll feel fine about that putt. McBeth takes time to make sure his disc is dry.
We've got just 2 holes to play, barring a playoff. Of course, we saw the playoff last year between Jeremy Koling and James Conrad. Koling winning it in the first hole. And McBeth, that looks a little bit light. I think these guys are scared.
That looks pretty identical to the shots that we saw yesterday, where we had 3 or 4 players all with their up shots and put them far to the right and not inside the circle. That was a very conservative shot.
To repeat the scores, Perkins 31 under, Koling 31 under, McBeth and Sexton both at 29. Anything can happen on the final hole. Clearly all of our players have more than enough distance to go for the green. Could be looking at eagle or birdie potentials. You could also find the OB wall deep on the final hole. Anything's possible. Here's Double G.
Gurthie with a smash of a forehand shot. It hits with a great angle to just bounce and settle, and he is well within the circle. We're going to walk up and see these guys have some birdie putts.
And as we move down the fairway, we're also hearing and seeing some of the cheers from hole 18's tee area, where we're seeing the chase card a moment ago. I think we saw Devin Owens throw his drive. And it seems like the rain wants to let off. We're seeing a little bit of sunshine come over the horizon, and excited to be closing this out today. Just as we hear a grumble of thunder.
As the thunder rolls, yeah. I can see the sun coming out, and I think the direction that the weather is moving through, that we will see some sunshine here shortly.
And Paul McBeth moves himself to 30 under par, keeping himself in a striking distance. I'm not sure he's going to have enough for this last hole, but he does move to 30 under par momentarily. This is huge for Nate Perkins. Nate Perkins is going to stop for a moment again. The sun is getting brighter with each passing moment, peeking out behind the clouds. Nate's going to make sure he's got a good grip on the disc.
Nate is in for birdie. This is significant. So what we're about to see is an all-star birdie on this hole, which I am sure has never happened. This is the most difficult hole on this course, and these guys have played it very well.
Can't help but look at how beautiful this is as we're seeing the raindrops coming onto the basket with the sun behind it. This is big germ from less than 12 feet. And he taps in. We're going to see you on the 18th and final hole in just a few moments.
The Dynamic Disc Recruit is a tournament quality basket at a practice level price. The Recruit is the ultimate basket for backyard practice or temporary courses. Get ready for tournaments. Get better. Get the Recruit.
Are you currently looking for the one? How do you get hooked up usually?
Through friends,
players' parties,
sometimes even fans.
And how's that been working for you?
Not so good.
Have you ever tried looking online?
Never.
You should check this site out.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Find your go-to disc at blankinkdiscs.com today. 2018 Tour Support discs available now.
Gotta get one.
I need one.
Welcome back as we're moving ourselves near the tee of hole number 18. We're also getting our cameras into position, moving onto the green of 18 as we're watching the chase card. Looks like they've got some organizing to do as to who may be out. And while we look at that, we'll also take a quick look at the scores as there's a huge rainbow just beyond the tee area right now.
Check that, Terry. It's actually a double rainbow all the way.
OMG. There it is, in fact, the double rainbow taking place. What needs to happen for a double rainbow? Any ideas?
We need to run a great event, I think. I think that's a sign that we have the best event.
Well, we've been here 2 years, and we've had a great time both times. Exciting golf, both years of which included Jeremy Koling here. And Jeremy Koling trying to repeat, trying to defend his championship from last year. This is a real nail biter. Him and Nate Perkins coming down to the final hole. Let's talk about the advantages. I think it's safe to say that Jeremy Koling has a bigger arm that can definitely reach the basket from here. Can Nate Perkins do the same?
I think he can. You know, it's not terribly far to actually just get over on that other side. Now, to get it to the pin, that's pretty far. But certainly he can get across and give himself a look at an eagle, and he has to do that. Jeremy certainly is going to go for this. He needs an eagle here, or a look at an eagle, to secure this win, unless he is fine with going into overtime, which, you know, he was fine with last year. So we will see what happens.
I'm seeing, I believe, Patrick Brown on the green at the moment. Patrick, along with his good buddy and teammate, Johnny McRae, both playing on the second card. Also Nate Sexton, along with Devin Owens. And a solid putt for Patrick Brown to finish out the tournament. Looks like Johnny McRae is lining up what should be his final putt of the round.
Yeah, Terry, we still have a pretty sizable gallery out here, even despite the weather. It's been a really fun weekend, and we've brought a lot of people out.
We'd certainly like to thank all of our virtual spectators, everyone at home, also anyone that's out there partaking in one of the Disc Golf Pro Tour parties, satellite parties around the country. Shout out to everyone out there. We hope that you guys have enjoyed the coverage throughout the last few days. We're excited to be here in Waco. We're looking forward already to a return in 2019. The Disc Golf Pro Tour will pick back up in Jonesboro in just a few weeks. Heading over to the disc side of heaven, another fantastic course. We've been blessed with great courses throughout the Disc Golf Pro Tour seasons the last 2.5 years. And we look forward to the remainder of 2018. While we're also here, I'd like to go ahead and quickly thank you and the rest of your crew. Great job this weekend. I know some amateurs are still wrapping up tomorrow, but thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, it's been a really fun weekend. A lot of hard work went into this, and we're glad it went off so well. We've got Garrett Guthrie. He's got a little bit of turn on this that needs to fade. It's actually heading towards the OB wall, and it's just over the edge. That was an absolute smash, but too much turn on that disc.
And a matter of who throws next, talking a little bit about the gamesmanship that might take place here. I think we're going to have Paul McBeth, or correction, we have Nate Perkins. This could determine exactly how Big Germ's going to play the hole, depending on Nate Perkins' tee shot.
It looks like he's lining up the Heiser layup shot. It does not look like he is going for this. And that's right, so this is going to stay in bounds, and if Germ can put his on the green, he may just win this event.
Nate Perkins is forced to throw up towards the basket and at least get the birdie, because I'm guessing Big Germ's going to easily clear this. I watched Big Germ just take a really deep breath as he's waiting Paul McBeth.
Paul McBeth with the same destroyer threw yesterday, but that has also way too much turn. It's fading at the end, but I'm not sure this is going to be in bounds. And he is out of bounds as well.
That will effectively end the run by Paul McBeth here. Big Germ can keep the pressure on Nate Perkins by putting this on the green, ideally inside the circle.
The rain is mostly let up, and there's little wind to speak of, so these guys are just not throwing very well in these shots. And it is high enough, and that is turned as well, and I think he's going to be OB.
It is pushing to that long wall, and it comes in just in bounds. Big Germ giving himself the clap. Let's see how the women finished out. We'll be back with you in a moment.
What?
The crazy turn of events puts Sarah Hokom up by 2. Just a few moments ago, she was down by 2. And she's going to lay it up, play it safe on 18. And after a pair of skips, she finds herself short and left. OB wall. Nobody crushes like Paige Pierce. She's going to go for the green, 492 feet, and easily clears it. The crowd erupts. Hokom's got a little work to do. She says she can't make it all the way over the water from that spot, so she's going to lay it up. She finds herself right next to 2 of her card mates, and she just has to throw it over and put herself... Oh, and past the basket. Pierce for eagle. And Catrina's jumping in the background. What a run by Paige Pierce. Sarah Hokom needs the putt. Sarah Hokom's up, and the flutter tells it all. Hokom not the...
And Nate Perkins is just waiting for that to nestle up next to the basket to relieve any pressure. He's under the pin. That's going to be an easy birdie 3 for Perkins. Right now we're looking at extra holes unless Big Germ can convert.
Confidence we saw from days 1 and 2. And with that, Sarah Hokom lets her 7 strokes dwindle. And she's passed today by the 4-time Women's World Champion, Paige Pierce, who seems unbeatable.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Waco Annual Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Disc Champion, Paige Pierce.
Ryan Draper on the call, and Paige has to contain her emotions. She battled hard, and she's your champion here in Waco. We'll see you at the next one.
You like it?
And with Nate Perkins just a few feet from the pin, Big Germ knows he can win this outright if he could somehow sink this very long putt. First, we're going to have a marking for where our other competitors went out of bounds. Double G trying to get his spot.
You know, it makes me think back to last year. Germ was in this exact same position where a putt on this hole could have won the tournament for him, and he just laid up. And I think in this situation, he probably knows that he has a distance advantage, and those next 3 holes, should they go to a playoff, he does have the advantage there.
We've confirmed with OTD Ryan Draper that they will move to holes 3, 4, and 5 if necessary for playoffs, as Double G could use done without that skip. It is a sudden death to confirm. Is that correct, Ryan, starting on hole 3?
Yep, they'll go to hole 3 and start from there, play 3, 4, 5, and 6 in a loop until somebody is declared a winner.
All right, so there you have it. 3, 4, 5, and 6 in a loop, but starting with sudden death on hole 3, just as we saw last year, where Big Germ took it down over James Conrad. This is Big Germ for the outright win if he can sink this putt. And Big Germ taking plenty of time, and Big Germ has left himself a tester. And I only say that because he has missed from here today. He now has 15, maybe 16 feet at most to come back. It is not the drop in that Nate Perkins has. Performance by Garrett Guthrie. And out of his hand, I think Big Germ knew that was slightly right. He takes a sigh of relief, as he should. That was close. Big Germ is in, and this is going to go to extra holes. Nate Perkins is going to tap in from less than 5 feet. And folks, we've got extra holes again. I said I love Waco. I said I love the disc golf, the courses, the people, the tournament, the staff, the crew. But I don't know if we need extra holes, but I guess we do.
We absolutely do. This is about to get exciting. You know, it's the same playout as last year. Very tight. Germ was tied for the lead coming into it, and he's going to a playoff with a long-haired guy. It's exactly the same, Terry.
We'll be back with you in a few moments from the sudden death on hole 3.
Here are the top 5 putts from the 2017 Waco Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. Number 5, Will Shoestrick on hole 2. Number 4, Ricky Wysocki, hole 10.
See, after the round you were talking about this hitting a branch and going in, but I think it would have gone in either way. The branch didn't really affect it.
Number 3, Jeremy Koling, hole 4.
That was a must get there.
Must make. Get the powerful fist
Yeah.
and everything.
Number 2, Ricky Wysocki, hole 16.
Ricky
with the Swan. It's just insane.
When you're playing with Ricky and he does that, it's like just, of course.
Of course.
At least it makes him smile.
Speaking of Simon Lizotte, a huge putt in round one for birdie. He had the putter going strong all week long in Waco.
Thanks for watching those hot putts from the Waco Charity Open in 2017. The 2018 Waco Charity Open will be broadcast live Thursday through Saturday, March 15th to 17th. Live broadcast starts at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern every day.
Oh, and that slips out on the right side for...
Germ's birdie putt has fallen out and is rolling down the hill. He's now 20 feet away. Jeremy with his hyzer flip-up shot. It's turning a little bit to the left. He wants that to go back to the right, but it's got good distance. And the crowd has to move. That looks like a great shot from him.
You're right, McBeth with a very awkward misfire yesterday as he threw it directly into the ground. Meanwhile, Big Germ has some momentum, finding himself just start out the day in the lead, and now you see him chasing Big Germ. He's a stroke behind him. Can he match him? And he's done just that. Let's see how the women did earlier. And Big Germ off the front of the back. He's tied for the lead at 30 under par. Nate Sexton sits at 29 under par along with Johnny McRae. And that is going to be a drop-in birdie behind it. This is Big Germ from less than 12 feet. And Nate Perkins is just waiting for that to nestle up next to the basket to relieve any pressure. He's under the pin. That's going to be...
Back it up. Back it up.
What?
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. We are back and we are with the action.
Yeah.
Another playoff. And as you said, Cameron, as we were closing out, we've got Big Germ.
Those cars are
and
fine.
Somebody
Don't
else
worry
was
about
on
it.
here, Nate Perkins. Last year it was Big Germ, James Conrad. And Big Germ, I didn't realize he's all green today. I love it.
Yeah, I've been so busy with this event, I forgot today was even St. Patrick's Day.
We are going to be ready to go in just a few moments. Believe it or not, I actually have a decision to make whether I get to keep the sunglasses on or not. The sun just can't decide if it wants to poke back out. We are now seeing a complete halt of rain, which is great. The grass is a little bit wet, and I think we're ready to go.
I think the TV is stealing my job.
You so graciously called off everyone's name throughout the weekend. Man, how many names was that?
Oh my goodness, who's counting? More than, there's 110 in Open, plus all of the Masters division. I'm going to call it 175.
Times 3, and Nate Perkins has thrown OB. That's going to not get back in bounds. And Nate Perkins is just beside himself. Jeremy Koling holding his mouth right now, thinking that that may in fact have hit a spectator. Big Germ's asking if the spectator is in fact okay, and it looks like they are. Nate Perkins is beside himself. Paige Pierce trying to console him as Big Germ now. This is his tournament to win. Big Germ needs to start by just putting this in bounds.
Yeah, that is hard to believe. I cannot believe those people were not able to get out of the way. Wow. That did have a chance to get back in. It was an overstable disc. It would have skipped off the road and given a chance. All the Germ needs to do is keep this in bounds.
And Big Germ flirting with the OB. He's going to stay in bounds. It gets the skip we'd expect. We're going to move up the fairway, and we'll be back with you in a few moments after a word from our sponsor. Yep. How you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Good. Way back here. Perkins is going with a forehand out over the road, but keeping it a little bit tighter, and he's going to be short. He's looking outside circle 1, and the gallery calling for Perkins to make his putt for par from there. Cameron, pretty unbelievable turn of events that we've seen here on hole number 3. I'm going to go ahead and say I think it's going to end here on our first playoff hole, just as it did last year.
Yeah, barring anything insane happening, all Germ has to do is just take a par on this hole. He can just lay up his next shot and he will be just fine. What an unfortunate turn of events for Nate Perkins.
It is tough to tell if that was going to have the room and the time to get back in bounds. It was low and wide, and unfortunately we're never going to know. Big Germ with his approach.
To the right, it skips off the tree and leaves him just around that circle's edge. It's nowhere near as close as he wanted to be, but again, he doesn't really need to birdie this hole.
As we move up the fairway, we see that Nate Perkins is just about halfway between circle 1 and circle 2. We're going to give that a little outside 15, maybe 16 meters. Big Germ finds himself approximately 1 meter inside circle 1. If he wants any chance at continuing this, he needs to make it. everybody was holding their breath as Nate Perkins is going to get a round of applause. Big Germ's going to understandably lay up underneath the basket, and we're going to move in. Cameron, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm going to go talk to Big Germ. Thank you for everything this weekend. Any parting shots?
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for supporting Waco, and come to Waco and play the Beast. Come see us at the Waco Disc Golf Station. Thank you, Terry.
All right, that's Cameron. We're going to move in and have a conversation quickly with Big Germ. Big Germ, your champion. Epic battle, and Big Germ, you've done it. You've defended your title. Wow. I think you've gotten taller in the process. You've defended your title. It took extra holes again. What were you thinking as we came down in the playoff?
Not again. No, it's crazy. You know, Nate and I just spent a really special time in Thailand for about 3 weeks, and really formed a great bond. He stayed at my house for about 3 weeks during the USDGC, and so over the last year and a half, he's become one of my, best buddies. And last year, James Conrad, again, one of my really great buddies. So it's just crazy. It's just so reminiscent of last year. And it ended in the same way, like a really unfortunate drive, going out of bounds. It's not exactly how you want to win it, but dude, this is the first time I defended a title of this magnitude, and I can't believe it. It's a little bit surreal right now.
How does it feel coming out in front of this crowd, this gallery, so many people at home, and coming out and putting your stamp on this event?
Well, I mean, it feels incredible. I've had a slow start this year, and not the play that I wanted to have. I wanted to come out with a little bit more consistency this year, and this is the first time I've put together 3 rounds. Some hiccups today for sure, some things I need to really work on. My putting was solid all throughout the first 2 rounds, and then today it was not great. But I threw enough good shots off the tee that I was able to get around that. But I definitely have a lot to clean up, but I am so happy right now. St. Patrick's Day. I'm kind of wore green, so I'm going to go out and celebrate tonight, have a good time, and yeah, I'm just going to let this soak in for a little bit.
Well, the last thing I'll ask is, we had the rain delay. There was just 2 holes left. What were you thinking as we had to come off the course, and then when you had to head back out there? What were you thinking?
Not really anything. We were in the Jomas the RV, and we were just, having a good time and making jokes and joking about how close the lightning got. We said that this event was close to being called the Jeremy Koling Memorial. Just trying to keep it lighthearted and not think about the fact that Nate and I were tied with 2 really difficult holes left. And so, the pressure takes care of itself. You don't want to overthink it, anything. You just let the situation and the scenarios play out.
All right. Well, you're a champion, defending your title. Congratulations.
Thanks,
we're going to send everyone out. I've got to thank the amazing staff and crew, everyone here in Waco. This Disc Golf Pro Tour stop has lived up to its hype yet again. Big Germ, a big part of that. He is your champion. I want to thank Rick and Todd, Jeremy, Johnny V, Gary to the O, everybody at the staff, everybody here at the Waco staff, and Dynamic Disc, our presenting sponsor. For the Disc Golf Pro Tour, this is your champion, Big Germ, Jeremy Koling. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Waco Annual Charity Open, presented by Dynamic Disc champion, Jeremy Koling.
I'm going to call it 175.
Times 3, and Nate Perkins has thrown OB. That's going to not get back in bounds. And Nate Perkins is just beside himself. Jeremy Koling holding his mouth right now, thinking that may in fact have hit a spectator.
I'm going to call it 175.
Times 3, and Nate Perkins has thrown OB. That's going to not get back in bounds. And Nate Perkins is just beside himself. Jeremy Koling holding his mouth right now, thinking that may in fact have hit a spectator. Oh, and everybody was holding. Go talk to Big Germ. Thank you for everything this weekend. Any parting shots?
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for supporting Waco, and come to Waco and play the Beast. Come see us at the Waco Disc Golf Station. Thank you, Terry.